Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala an says the following: إن مما يصفي لك ود أخيك أن تبدأه بالسلام وأن تدعوه بأحب الأسماء إليه وأن توسع له في المجلس. Islam has put a responsibility on the shoulders of every male and female Muslim, and that is to create and foster healthy relationships. Look, secular studies have shown the greatest indicator of happiness is healthy relationships. Islam understood this 1400 years ago and created a model precisely for that, where good akhlaq, good character, is at the forefront of the Muslim identity. And here Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala an gives us a few very simple practices that we can easily incorporate in our day-to-day lives to help build loving relationships with other people. Now, of course, not everybody's going to be at the same level of love as everybody else in your own personal life. But when you find somebody and see somebody who you truly want to build a relationship with, emphasize these three things. But in general, we can do these three things to help foster a warm community, a loving community, a strong ummah, a united ummah. The first of these three things is to initiate salam with your fellow Muslim. Look, greetings are more than just cultural words that we use to not be criticized or critiqued as somebody who's impolite. It's more than just customs that we have become accustomed to. Rather, greetings are meant to create a sense of acknowledgement to the person or in the person that you are greeting. And so we Muslims, Assalamu alaikum, to us is more than just a phrase that we customarily use to get a few good deeds. Yes, saying Assalamu alaikum gets you good deeds, but it's more than that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls this greeting tahiyyatan min indillah. It is from Allah, right? And it is a tahiyya. It is a gesture of acknowledgement, a gesture of respect. When you say Assalamu alaikum to somebody, you are essentially letting them know, I see your presence, I acknowledge your presence, and in my acknowledgement of your presence, I am respecting you. Because think about it. If you enter and somebody looks at you and does not greet you in any way, then there is a sense of disrespect there. I mean, what? Am I not worthy enough to you to say Assalamu alaikum, to greet me? Or are you just that stubborn or arrogant that you don't think it's in your responsibility to greet me? What's the problem? There is a feeling of disrespect. So Allah calls Assalamu alaikum a tahiyya. It is a gesture of acknowledgement which indicates respect. It is from Allah and it is mubarakah. It is blessed. It is a blessing. When you say Assalamu alaikum, you're essentially making dua for that person. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you from any and all harms. Tayyibatan, and it is tayyib. It is a good word. It is a beautiful word. So you're adding beauty to your life by saying Assalamu alaikum. And you're adding beauty to somebody else's life by telling them Assalamu alaikum. And sometimes we're at disagreement with people. We're at odds with other people. And it becomes difficult for us to say Assalamu alaikum. Well, guess what? You don't have the luxury of ignoring somebody you frequently see. You don't. The Prophet ﷺ teaches us that you have 3 days. If you're at odds with somebody, you're allowed 3 days to not say Assalamu alaikum to them. After the 3 days, you are obligated to say Assalamu alaikum to them, or your good deeds are withheld until you restore that relationship. And then the Prophet says, خَيْرُهُمْ مَنْ يَبْدَأُ بِالسَّلَامِ. The better of those two differing individuals is the one who initiates the salam. So take this as a motivation for you. You're at odds with somebody, you still have to muster up the courage and that dignity to tell them Assalamu alaikum. So that's the first thing. Say Assalamu alaikum to people. And by the way, this isn't limited to people you know. The Prophet ﷺ says, part of building love is to give Assalamu alaikum to people you know, to people you don't know. Especially in our times, we find that people will say Assalamu alaikum to individuals of the same ethnicity or nationality, and they'll ignore people of other ethnicities. No, that's not the way it works. We say Salamu Alaikum to every Muslim. That's number one. Number two, to call them using their most beloved names. Look, if somebody has a beloved name and you know that name, that means you know that person. Your relationship with them is strong enough for them to let you know what is their preferred name. Right? So this is fostering this intimate relationship where the person I pray next to every single day in salah, the person I see every single day in the masjid is not just somebody I know by face, I don't know their name, I don't know. No. The Prophet or Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala an is encouraging us to get to know one another to the extent that we know what their preferred name is, their most beloved name is. And for the younger generation, forget about this, what's your preferred pronouns stuff. No. What's your preferred name? How do you want me to call you? What is the name that you feel most respected when people use it? That's what I use. And for the more close relationship with your spouse or with your children, having those nicknames that are unique to the family, that nuclear family, is also very beautiful. To call your wife with a name that is dala', right? It spoils her. And her, the same thing with her husband. Calling your children by the beautiful ways of calling their names. As the Prophet ﷺ would call Aisha, Aish. That's the way of beautifying the way he calls her by her name. So part of building that love and fostering healthy relationships is by calling people with their preferred and beloved names. And last but not least, when you see somebody and you're sitting down in a gathering, you make room for them. You're in the masjid, you're having breakfast in the masjid, and somebody comes in, make room for them. Even if there is room at the end of the table, for example, there's an empty space. No, having the gesture of moving your chair and telling the person, please come sit here. How is it going to make that person feel? It will make them feel loved. And that love will be reciprocated. And that love will grow into unity. And that unity grows into strength. When Allah sees the Muslims behaving this way, then He empowers them. And know that a disunited ummah is a weak ummah. And disunity is a sign that we are failing in upholding the Islamic practices in our ethics and our etiquettes. But when we practice these very simple things, we foster healthy relationships. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for watching this video. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. If you found benefit in this video, then please like it, share with other people, and remind you of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, whoever guides somebody to good, then they get the reward of those who do that good. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. See you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.